One of the nice features about with VirtualBox is the ability to SSH into any of the virtual machines. This can be done in more than one way, but the method that I personally like is one which makes use of the host network. But being able to use the host network requires us to enable a network from the host network manager settings. So here we can see the checkbox has been selected, which means that virtual machines on this host will have the 192.168.56.x network available with them. So we will use this method on the virtual machine target one, which is a CentOS box, and the settings of interest are in the network settings. So the I will configure two adapters. One is, so by default this is attached to the uh, host bridge, which I don't prefer. I will instead convert it into a NAT and then enable a second adapter which is connected to the host network. That is all. Now we will start the virtual machine and configure its interfaces from inside the virtual machine. The virtual machine will take a few seconds to boot up. So we have reached the login screen. The first thing that we do is to launch the terminal so that we can reach the network settings, which reside in etc sysconfig network scripts. Here, before configuring, we have to first know the name of the interface, which can be done by means of the IP link show command. Here we do see that we have two interfaces available, ENP0S3 and ENP0S8. However, there is no script with the name IFCFG ENP0S8. The reason that it is not present is because when I installed CentOS on the VM, I had not configured two network interfaces. So the installer, so for the installer, two interfaces were not visible, and that's the reason why it created configuration for only one interface. So this is not an issue. It is easy to create a new configuration. We will simply start by copying from the configuration file which is already available. We will create a configuration file which matches with the name of the target interface. This is a operation which requires super user privileges, hence the use of sudo. And we will change the minimum amount of properties that need to be changed. The name and the device, and there is a UUID field as well. So all devices should have a unique identifier. Hence, we will generate a new ID for this device. And now, if we were to reboot the box, we should be able to get an IP address for this device. But before I reboot, let me just check. Let me show that the IP address is not present. So we see that, okay. So I wrongly thought that the system needs to be rebooted. We already have the IP address, so this makes our work simpler. So we now go to the host machine and try to SSH into the VM, and we have been able to do it successfully. Um, just before ending, let us configure SSH client so that it is slightly easier to log into the virtual machine. And we will also enable passwordless SSH access so that we don't have to type the password again and again. We'll type the password for the first time, and now let's go back, and this time we should be able to log in without the password, and that is it.